Also go fucking thingy.
What?
New York.
And you don't know, man, stop swearing on, yo.
And mad be new. And mad.
Better this is so you know, like.
Say.
Hey, remember the time we were about to talk about racism and Gio went and put his big hands up?
How have we started already?
Hands.
That was so funny. No, do you know why I said that? Yeah? Because I'll never forget the way Benga dropped it. Benga was like, bro, we're about to talk about racism. Like, that actually killed me.
What did I do?
Start talking about how women ask about your big hands.
How women ask about your hands. But no, I was just going to say.
We'll sort this out.
Yeah.
When
you get new?
This intro. Welcome to our lives.
I didn't realize we're recording.
We're recording. When we're going.
Well, give them a little intro into our life.
I'm low-key flying, trying to fly out 15th or 16th of July. I'm not going.
15th or 16th of July.
I'm not going.
No, go. Just make sure you're back 19th in the morning.
So I'll leave like the day after. The day after. When would you do it?
Show your hand. Are you a gang member? Take a dirty hand.
GM me.
I just wanted to show that I like my friends.
Come on,
I like talking to my friends online. Now they're all doing gang signs.
Breaking news. I'll fly after, innit? I'll fly after.
Davy Jones turns 25 on July 19th, innit? Big thing. I don't know what I'm doing. Like I said, it might be graduation.
Run right.
Probably gonna be 2, innit?
Run the thing, because in fact, no, don't run it. If I don't do it, so I can do it.
Because of graduation, I have to do something at home. Cause mommy and daddy.
So you might as well split into 2, innit?
Yeah, so I have to probably split it in 2.
Hello.
It's been a while.
Wait, are you
guys actually filming now?
Yeah, we're in.
I'm not here.
Everybody's here.
Everybody's here. We did not get.
Yeah, we were. It's quite a free podcast. You know?
Yeah. Ashley, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Oh my days, I can't believe it. I'm featured.
It's usually the case when you're in the room. Actually,
yeah, do you know what I mean? We're gonna add your name to the bio now.
Featuring the pod.
We're gonna add only you. We're not gonna add just your sister. We're gonna add just your account.
She's coming for you. She's coming for you.
I'm not a solo.
You know she's coming for you. I'm not involved. That's
we're gonna add just you.
Nah. What's it? You always get She's the breakout one that came out of the band.
Yeah, you know
Michael Jackson said she was better than the rest of them. She said beat it.
Yeah.
Oh no, better Joel.
Oh my gosh. How are you guys anyway?
We're good. I think it's been like a whole year since we saw you, innit?
Damn.
No, we see her at Joe's thing, bro.
No.
Yeah, that was last time.
Which Joe's thing?
Joe's show.
Joe's pod live show.
Did we see how Joe's show?
But that's not a full year though. People's maths are doing crank.
Who said that?
Right
it wasn't me that said
I was
me.
I was thinking. First of all, we're not relying on you to remember anything. Just wait where you are.
Wait, no. I'll scatter everything down.
He said his hands.
You know why? You know why? Yeah? Because everybody was like, oh yeah, it was that, and then Joe said, "Did we see her at just?"
When you say Joe's thing, yeah, I feel
not the latest motive, the live show.
Can you blame me for getting misconstrued? God bless you. What's wrong with you?
Fair enough. Joe,
I can't. In fact,
Joe.
Ask him.
You took away stuff,
No, he took away.
It's at the bottom, bro.
Nah. So because the live show was in August, was it?
Yeah, August.
Yeah. So that was the last time we saw you. But I was actually remembering when we were on. Which pod did we do last? Was it our pod that we done last? Yeah, we were on the pod first, and then so that's when I remembered because I didn't really interact.
Wait, when was that?
I think the show that was definitely around like April or May of last year.
No, it wasn't. It was in the old place, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nah, man, it was definitely here. Yeah, like it was. Nah, it was definitely here, Carl. It's been a year that they've been here still.
Emma, don't answer him. Stupid boy.
Gio's memory is like he smokes weed, and he doesn't. Jaws me off. I say it was the last studio. Yeah, man. This studio's been here for a year. Yeah, bro.
Moving to the studio bangs again.
When I move here.
Yes.
6 months max.
Shit, time is flying.
Do you know what's crazy about what the pandemic done? Yeah, is that it kind of compresses like time. Because in the past, if you've not seen anyone in time, because you'd realize it. But you see that time when we're at home, yeah. Sometimes when I say last year, I mean 2020,
bro.
And it's not because
it's like there was a skip. Nah,
it's you know they keep saying that we're not gonna know the full effects until several years. It's showing, honestly, it's showing. I can't count years. Like the way you miss people is different now because. I'd not seen one of my brethren for like 2 years. We all met up on Saturday And I thought I'd seen her last year, but I hadn't. I didn't see her since summer of 2020.
Boy, oh boy.
And we all thought we linked up last year, but we didn't. Just because of the lockdowns, you kind of end up compressing time. I don't know.
because you're not doing anything more time.
Yeah, because during them lockdowns, you're kind of like in, so you're not
counting.
counting that you're doing stuff or what. I don't know what it could be. And before we started, I was gonna cuss Gio out because I'm obviously in the mood to do that today. Because I was
So you're gonna, at least you know you're gonna get the disagreements that we usually have. Go on.
fair enough. I thought it was
It's been a minute
I thought
anyway.
about to say I was gonna get these hands, and I was like, I hope not. I hope not, Gio. Not them hands.
beg your pardon.
Not that one you're dishing. Anyhow, Nah, interesting though, because I think we was playing around the idea of you spending like loads on a party, yeah. And he was like, why not? And obviously, like, I do know you two to be quite prudent and frugal gentlemen that manage money quite okay. But I hope you are. But like
You'd like to think so anyway.
it's a weird thing though in Yoruba culture that like people splash out for events but out of money that they don't have. Do you guys know that? Do you know that that's a thing?
Do you know? Yeah, go on.
So like, because I was
What exactly
speaking.
is the thing? Sorry,
So like, it's
As a
like Yoruba people, yeah, will splash out on like parties and stuff, but with money that they don't have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
I
like,
do know that as a-
but like, it's
Not you
accepted
not
in
you
the culture.
shaking
Yeah, it's a flex.
Like it's a thing that you do. Does that make sense? Yeah.
flex.
I was speaking to. Sometimes it's not even a flex, you know. Sometimes it's just because like the party has to happen and it has to happen in this way.
Regardless.
So they have to go and get the debt because
they have to go and go to the
because-
school.
yeah, quote unquote tradition. I was speaking to one of my boys' mum, like they're Kenyan, right? And it's quite opposite in their culture that when it's time to party, like to be fair, like she was cussing them out saying that they're stingy, but like it's a known thing to be frugal with your money, especially with things like partying.
Oh, is it?
But with us, it's actually quite accepted and encouraged. Now, I'm not shitting on my culture because we all know that I'm very, very ingrained in my culture.
Yeah.
And like
Go
everything that I've
colour.
just been saying, yeah,
Yeah.
I might have done at some point, and like I'm not, but like it's interesting.
Yeah. Definitely.
I wouldn't. I was gonna say. I think that's the image and the stereotype that's portrayed, but how true is it?
It's very true, bro. Like,
You think it's very true?
It's like it's genuinely like a cultural thing. Like
I agree with you to the point of the spending money that you don't have part. I think I agree with you up until that point, because I agree in the sense that Yoruba culture, you spend loads of money on a celebration, whether it be your wedding,
trust me.
your 40th, your 50th, whatever it is.
50th.
50 is the key one.
You know what's funny? They
you see
always
those
find-
gold balloons
Bro,
and the.
you know the funny thing about Yoruba culture? They always find a reason to go bigger. So
Yeah.
they'll celebrate big for 50th and they'll be like, well, the
And you know-
60th is soon.
that's what I'm saying. Just exactly, yeah.
But I wouldn't necessarily say is them. I can't necessarily akin it to them spending money that they don't have. That was my only problem with what you
Okay.
said. But in general, I agree.
So if
do
it's
you
not
mean by
money
that?
that they don't have, do you feel like it's just like a necessary expenditure to sort of like mark that
I think
occasion
so.
and it's fair?
I think so, and I think the way they do it, because if you realize in Yoruba culture as well, even in the relationship that you have with your parents or like growing up,
Yeah.
they wouldn't spend money on certain things.
Yeah.
Like there's a blender. This is just a dumb example. No. There's a blender.
Don't do this.
There's
It's just the way you said the blender.
There's a blender, yeah. The blender, I'm sure it's as old as I am. Like there's the blend. It still works and everything, but it leaks a little bit. Like just get a bloody new blender.
Yeah, but they're not
But
trying to do
they
any
wouldn't
blender.
want to get a new blender. Do you
This
get?
is so funny because my dad has a barber. A clipper. That is.
Use rubber band.
Please, no.
Use rubber band to hold the
He'll
fucking
get the
to
bit
fucking
and
keep it together.
he'll be mashing it
And then-
every time. Bro, dad, like, wait, nah, dad, you actually, dad, you actually have bread.
Just get a new fucking clip of my leg.
They're so funny,
wouldn't want
like,
to
what they
get
hold on to.
I would say things of necessity or things that you think will make sense to spend the P on to get. They would avoid doing until it's like completely not working.
Yeah.
But like, go on.
No, finish.
I was gonna say, but like when it comes to partying, they're willing to spend the bread on that. So, but this is the whole point. They say they will save money in other aspects and spend money on, I would say, what they deem more important, which would be the party.
I hear you, to be fair. You know, like, do you reckon we're going to continue that thing of sending peace back home, even though we don't like have them like that. Are we gonna do that?
No.
No.
You said hell no. She even said I did hell on top of
Even
it.
hell, serious no.
When I went, I don't want to say it like man's talking like, but
Oh dear.
I was very happy to do that when I went Nige.
I swear.
I just said give them P. I guess it differs person to person depending on your relationship with the people that are back home.
I find it mad to do only because of kind of going off your answer. I find it mad to do only because of the relationship I have with my family at home. So obviously, like, man's not giving to the oldest. I'm giving to like my cousins and them and there. But like the relationship that we have now, I feel like where we're such boys, it's almost
Why you
like
give me P?
yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? It's almost
So I'm see when our parents send peas home, it's not really called they're just trying to dash out the peas.
It's not really what?
It's not just because they're trying to dash out the peas. It's because like a need is
Arisen on their
arisen.
behalf.
Oh, okay, so it's more like
So
a
what
favour.
I'm trying to say is
It's
like, and I'm not saying that we're giving peas to like our uncles or whatever. I'm saying how our parents give to counterparts if they need a rose.
Would I give the counterpart?
Yeah. Is that like something that we should continue? Is it something that's bad? Something that's good? What do you think?
I think it's good. I think it makes a lot of sense, especially when you like just from an economic point of view, when you consider like what our money translates in
To them,
that
yeah.
economy. I think it makes a lot of sense, and I think it's definitely good in that sense. I just think I think we mentioned this before. It's also funny how like we're viewed from like
Them.
so like Nigeria and like in the fact obviously like a lower socioeconomic status. So it's like I'm just.
Should be
I'm
done.
careful. I think we just need to be careful that it doesn't come across like above them. Basically, is what I'm trying to get.
So
at
you're even you do you know in Nigeria they don't care about
They
stuff
don't
like
care.
that. I'm like they don't care, bro. Like
I don't- I hear you, but-
50+ men on the road were calling me sir and dad to collect peas from me. They do not like they don't see the job is to collect money.
Yeah.
They do not
Doesn't matter
care.
how it
Yeah,
comes
they
about.
don't like the poverty is so rife
Yeah.
that there isn't like there's no ego or pride in that moment. Once they get the money off of you, you can see another side, but they do not care, bro.
Also, it's anything to get.
Yeah, and obviously I'm not talking about our family, but I'm just trying to say like the culture and like sort of like the way it is there. If they'll do what it seems like, as long as they're getting financial, they don't look at it like that, bro.
Sure.
As long as they're getting what they're getting,
That's interesting.
Like, have you seen that that TikTok where there's like a Ghanaian mom like hustling for,
and she's like,
for
I hope
money.
you use this money well. And then she switches and
switches.
they don't know what.
You're skipping like you DK.
Yeah.
And then you see the cousins
They
in
don't know
Ghana
what's going
smoking
on.
out,
Yeah.
going sorry.
What's going on?
That's one of my favorite TikToks.
Nah, it's a lot. Do you guys worry about stuff? Like, would you think about stuff? See, where I'm trying to go with this here, essentially, is that are there things that we need to remove from the way our parents see money in the context of our culture going forward? Especially like, because like, there's some things culturally that I feel like definitely are no advantages on my end from what I've seen my parents do with money. Right? There's no way they got it all right. Yeah. So I'm just in general, like, and then I obviously just went and linked the whole diasporans at home to it. And
So
there are
they were
things that
about
we just need to be like, I hear it, or I hear why they're doing it, but we gotta cut it out, man.
Not even just doing the whole mindset around money in general. It needs a complete 180 in the sense of a lot of people. We were first generation in it. A lot of our mummies and daddies that came, they came for the purpose of a better life, quote unquote. Yeah, and then that's all encompassed under the fact that coming here in a better life will include having more opportunity to get better money. Once they've now reached once they now reach that stage and they've obtained a so-called better life, and that usually manifests itself in a 9 to 5. Yeah. The way they see money because of that quote unquote dream, it kind of like manipulates the way that they live their life.
Okay.
So, and the way I'm saying that
I think I know where you're going down because we briefly spoke
we
about
briefly
stuff
spoke
there.
about. So I kind of like the way I view money is, and a lot of older people find this mad as well. Money's to be spent.
Oh yeah, I know what you're saying.
Life is for the living.
Life is for the living, and money's to be spent. Like I'm not saying that obviously you go and spend money fruitlessly.
Oh, I love that word.
But,
fruitlessly. Oh, yes, Gio.
Shaky.
I don't care if it's shaky, bro.
That was shaky still. Wow. We're not going to start this on the
No, we're actually not going to start this.
Let it be shaky. I don't care.
Yeah, shaky.
What, you want me to shake my ass? It said
I
shake.
I shouldn't have started.
Sorry. That is to say, not to say.
So dumb. Honestly, I hate this guy, bro.
Not to say to spend your money aimlessly, but live your life. Like a lot of them, they will get money, and they will have a fear of spending that money on things that they want and things that they need, for fear of a situation arising where they're gonna need that money. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Rainy day.
So even translate into little things like let's say the blender, for example.
Not the blender.
You don't want to spend the P on the blender
because it's not broken. Why
because it's not broken. It's even it's leaking.
Well,
But it's still usable.
It's usable.
As long as we can still make stew. Can still make a fairy roll.
No, because you lift the blender up here and the tomato is drizzling down. Anyways,
bro, I know what you're trying to say.
They don't want to spend the P on it for fear of, let's say, rainy day funds, and that's like you're waiting for an imminent threat that may never even happen.
I think, yeah, we have a luxury that they don't.
That the
facts
facts.
that we are. Let's try to say the word diaspora.
Yeah, that's the one.
Diaspora.
I don't know. I can't remember what I said last week.
Last week you said diaspora.
No, he didn't. You're buying it.
He did.
You said diaspora.
He did.
He might be right.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but it's
It
the way
sounded
you
like
said
body
it.
dysmorphia.
Yeah,
I remember. Yeah, I remember.
It's the way Colin said it.
No, everyone was saying that I can't say his her. Everyone's cussing my H factor. Well, we got you. Say it again, bro.
Yo.
Dialogue? Diamond? Go on, bro. Diaspora
is crazy.
Maybe everyone knows what I'm talking about. Disposable.
Yo.
Anyway.
Not disposable.
Anyway, yeah. The point, I'm not going to repeat the word again, honestly, because I might get it wrong.
We got you, bro.
The point is, I think we have that luxury in the sense of that, obviously, like, we're like, obviously, Dave migrated from a different country and the stakes were much higher for them.
Yeah.
Remember me and Joe were having a conversation once and we're like, for a lot of people in like Nigeria and other like African countries, they view coming to the UK as a success in itself.
Yeah.
Like coming as
facts.
so obviously like our parents like will tell you, I'm sure like many listeners can relate in the fact that your parents will tell you that 10, 20 years ago they were working jobs which they felt was belittling below them. Do you get what I'm saying, innit? So they didn't have the luxury of just thinking, I can spend now. Because they have 3 kids to provide for and bills to pay and they're also trying to think of how they can elevate in their career. We now have that luxury of that. We were born into this. Many of us were either born here or moved there quite young, so we don't have that extra stress. Do you know what I'm saying? We were raised so. I agree. Anyway,
but there's reason behind it.
Yeah, there's reason behind it. I basically agree with you.
I agree with what you're saying as well. I think for the time, for their time period, it makes it. If they didn't, they wouldn't have survived. Yeah. So I'm not even necessarily saying it's a bad thing. Yeah. But as as the diaspora has evolved, the mindset of money needs to evolve with it in order to.
This link back to college question, of course.
In order to reach whether it's old money, new money, to reach a certain life is the best way to describe it. To reach a certain, I wanted to call it status. To reach a certain life, to be able to live a certain way. The mindset of money needs to change.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. Like I know that my mom didn't know the value of credit for years, even though she lived in this country. Because like the mentality in Niger or in most African countries, there isn't actually a credit facility because people don't live in debt. People actually pay. Simply because the financial institutions are just not responsible to have the kind of strength of that. So ridiculous things like that, like we from the ages of whatever, we already know about credit. We know the value of that. Does that make sense? So I was just trying to say what are like the obvious things to pinpoint that we just need to drop and leave. If nothing comes to mind, it's fine. There's like a little way that I was going to take the conversation. But
I'll just add to that. It's kind of a tricky one actually, because the other thing, just adding to Jill's point, I remember I was having a conversation with Shola. I want to get him on the pod to discuss it actually, and he was mentioning. I don't want to make this into too much of a BLM pod because I know Gio loves this. Yeah,
we've been honestly we can't run away from it anymore. Yeah. It's fine.
Well, it's true. Anyway.
In fact,
yeah. Don't get him started.
It's all about race.
Okay. You're right. Anyway, the point I was trying to make is just linking into what you said. I think these points kind of link in. I remember I was having a conversation with Shola and he was like to me, and we both listened to one podcast. I can't remember what the name of the podcast was. I should find it actually so people can listen to it. But they were making the point that they feel like black people that are wealthy or have more disposable income waste their money on things that they don't need to. So that's why a lot of things are glamorized in our culture when it should be looked at in other avenues. So he was like, why? So I think you guys can see the general things I'm making, but then he made the point that like, why aren't things like going to university glamorized? Why does, and obviously linking back to another old pod, why is entrepreneurship glamorized when it's not clear cut that you're going to have loads of disposable income? So then just to link this all back, obviously you made the point that life is for the living and money is to be spent.
But there's negative consequences.
There's negative consequences because that can feed into I know this isn't like I know I have the context of you in it, so I know this isn't what you meant. It's more so I'm just raising this conversation point, but I'm just saying that money to be spent. I guess there's a tricky balance because when we say stuff like there's money to be spent, it can lead to indications of spending on need, like
being frivolous.
Exactly, there you are.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
What's crazy? Maybe crazy. What's the problem with that?
With what exactly?
Spending frivolously. If it's the case where
do you know what frivolous means?
So maybe I don't understand it. Okay, let me change the word frivolous. What's the problem with, because the way I've understood the problem that you kind of packaged it is a lot of wealthy black people spend, I don't like the word frivolous, spend excessively on things that they don't need.
That's a mad generalization, by the way, but continue.
What did you say?
No, I'm not saying no, you're right. I'm saying that initial quote is a mad generalization.
Yeah, so a lot of black people, or some, sorry, let's defend our brother. Some black people
allegedly
allegedly they spend excessively on things that they don't need, and that kind of then trickles down. The trickle down effect that has is that other black people see that and aim to emulate it without the same resource. That's the general thing, right?
General thing, and then it was just linking into like what is glamorized in our culture.
Oh, and it's then glamorized in our culture. Okay, my thing is, I don't like that thought process because it villainizes the black person that has wealth. My thing is, what's the problem with?
I don't exactly think that's the intention, but I get your point.
No, it may not be the intention, but that's the outcome.
Yeah.
So what's the problem with a black person who has wealth spending it excessively if they can?
So I'll just say, because I feel like I get the context of what they're saying. The idea is not to individualize the person. The idea is to look at our culture and see the things that we look to emulate. Simply because I can understand where the pressures come from. Like every day, like I watch my goat Wiz, and I see the chains, the Cuban chains he's wearing. We see Davido's on Reels saying today I'm gonna spend 100K on Icebox. Yeah, he has that money, and I'm looking at that, and as much. I'm an accountant, right? Like as much as I am,
those numbers.
As much as I have the restraint and understand to a certain extent the value of money, that does kind of influence me. Does that make sense? So the idea is not that if he has that money, he can't spend it on ways then, but the things that you glamorize, they seep into culture.
Yeah.
Like I can give an example of exactly what you're talking about. I was watching the I'm Athlete podcast, and then they had an old I believe it was an old NFL player that wasn't much of a great, and like he wasn't like the initial like first draft kind of, like he wasn't even part of the draft process. Like he just sort of snuck into NFL. And then they had one old NBA player that went broke. They had one that made a lot of money, like NFL player, and they were all just speaking there. But the guy that I said sort of sneaked into the NFL, he now works for like a financial institution, and he came on the podcast to sort of like talk about the things around our culture and how, even though to a certain extent there's a great margin to how like them black athletes were doing better with their money, but because of what culture is glamorized with people at that height, we're still like basically 20 years ago, the same amount of percentage of black athletes that used to go broke by the end of the career is still the exact same number. So that's something 20 years ago, something is wrong with the culture.
I get that.
So that's what's backing that point. And nothing's wrong with anybody spending their money. But the point is like all the youngins that are coming up, they're working hard to get there. Yeah. But when they get there, like they're making the exact same mistake, because this is the exact same thing that's been glamorized. Is that
the point?
That is the point, bro.
That is the point.
Okay, so I was working through the process of elimination as to where the problem in the culture lies. So my thing was him being rich or him spending excessively because he has it isn't the problem.
Yeah, definitely.
Then I was gonna ask
excessively ? But yeah,
I was gonna ask then. Because we're talking about influence. We're talking about someone spending P.
Yeah.
Having a show and them spending P, they don't have the influence to show people that. I don't like that word.
Yeah, I get
that are
not at the same.
They're not at the same level currently.
Yeah.
That they're spending P, and they are then influenced to do the same. I thought that was the.
That is.
Okay.
Even the ones that I said the ones that even had money, they're getting broke. Imagine the ones that don't have the money, bro.
Yeah.
See, so that's what I'm saying. So my question is now, where does the problem? Where does the blame lie for lack of a better term?
The blame doesn't necessarily lie anyway. We've said here time and time again that we all contribute to culture. What we accept and what we deny is what makes culture in the end. Now that guy coming in the podcast to say that like NFL players should stop doing. They used to do stuff like they would go from one place to they'd go from like wherever they live into Vegas, and on one flight they will all hire like a private jet. Yeah. They were saying PJ. I didn't even know what it meant. 26K there and 26K back because you're making money.
See that bit of Floyd Mayweather when he was like, oh yeah, what, you're gonna get picked up, and he said,
what's his name, Ben? What's his name, Ben or something?
Whatever his name was, he called the Donny.
How'd you come get me?
He called the Donny like it was Uber. Like Bro was going to pick them up in a private jet.
So
I said, this
the other brother said to them. The other brother said to them, what is the problem with flying first class? Because you can afford that. Do you know? The first class ticket max would be like 2 bags to 26K. Imagine on an investment level, the margins there, right? There is not. They could afford it. Okay. At different points, they all spoke about how they got to like testing points where it's like they've been spending money, man. Because again, money can be a very emotional thing. So whenever you feel like you want to make yourself feel better, you want to soothe, you will do those things in excess. Yeah. And at some point, like because it's already like a habit. You're not realizing, we all do it now. There's times where like life stuff, you spend peace to the point where you're not checking the account. Bros, and then you go and check the account, you're like, oh my God, I'm not going out this month anymore.
One too many shots.
That's what I'm saying. So like imagine, and bro, that's what man's watching. A lot of people that want to make it out of the hood, and you know how that sports thing is a damn lottery thing in America.
Even in this country.
It's like I think.
Oh, you're talking about the draft?
Yeah, the draft and all of that. And so you got this youngins that are like working their arse off to be elite athletes, using what they're given to make the best out of the situations. They get there and they make the exact same mistakes. Yeah. And they then have like maybe a 10-year like career period, and they're back to where. So I remember the guy on there was then saying that like some people that have not ended up like that is because like when the new draft guys come in, the older guys that have had like maybe 10 businesses. They're 10 business in. I think they will say like, 1 out of 10 businesses fail. So like they're on their 10th business that's making them more money. They'll be like, yo, don't try and match up with us.
Yeah.
I know what you're seeing right now. You're and you know as a man, when you guys first got your first 9 to 5 and the money changed. Yeah, you start to think.
Yeah.
I want to do what all the big boys do now. Yeah, everybody knows that.
Flexible, so somebody coming to tell you don't.
Somebody,
you're not my level yet.
It's so important for someone to just be like, you don't even need to do that. That's not the proof of who you are as a.
That's not validation. For
it's not.
Yeah.
So, bro, it is the culture that we all contribute to.
But that's where I was trying to get to, as in what you just isolated out. So my thing is, you find the root of the problem. What's the solution? We've defined the root of the problem is that.
I won't go as fast from the root of the problem, but we discussed it.
It's the root of the problem is that there's unintentional influence created.
Whoa, unintentional.
Okay, not all the time unintentional.
You're really trying to like take away, like you're really trying to make it be like, you're trying to like say it's cool for people to have splashed that way, to have contributed to the culture that way. But bro, the reason why I can talk to you like that is because that brother went into that room and said everybody that's been treating money this way are treating money like idiots, bro. So it's very important to call it what it is. There's no point trying to make it seem like, because it's their peas, they should spend it anyhow.
Okay, see, this is where we disagree. Because it's their peas, they can't spend it anyhow.
Of course they can.
Exactly. But my thing is, we're talking about what the problem is. He initially said a statement that had a problem, but we couldn't figure out the problem. That was my main point. And my thing was, I made sure that I tried to take away from the fact that him spending his own pee, you can't tell a man that he can't spend it. If he has it, he has it.
Bro, that's not what I'm saying, but cool.
No, that's what I'm saying. We're getting there. That's what I'm saying. So that isn't necessarily the problem. And the problem is the influence created by it, whether intentional or unintentional.
You see.
I know exactly what you're trying to say, but I'm not gonna try to take agency from a man and say he can't speak. Exactly. I can't do what he wants. But like the same way I can come here and say that like African parents shouldn't spend money in a certain way, I can say that lot shouldn't move mad, bro. But everybody contributes to the culture.
Yeah, because I think the point that we're alluding to, and it's like, naturally, you actually shouldn't be able to tell another man what they do with their money. I just think that obviously there's a bigger problem at hand. If there's,
What did you do?
Just saying hi, innit?
You saying?
Hi.
Go on.
What was the point I was making again?
Yeah, you were saying that you can't tell another man.
You can't tell a man how to spend his own piece. The things I get what both of you are saying as well, but my things, the way you guys are saying it is rubbing me the wrong way, because it still alludes to the fact that it's kind of like there is an unjust responsibility on the person that has P not to create this influence by spending his P. And
that's not what I'm saying.
You have that's what I'm saying, but you haven't directly said it. But I can't articulate better than I have already.
Maybe that's what I'm saying. That maybe it's not justified. Like I'm not. Like I've just.
Congratulations.
But we've definitely said the problem though.
Yeah. The point I was more so alluding to was that basically just linking off what Colin said, and kind of linking back to the general point on podcast that we listen to, is that if you can see that there's a problem in the culture, and we can see one route which like we can see one clear route which influences the problem in the culture. Yeah. So the fact that all these athletes, statistics show that 20 years later they go broke. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm saying, like, we can see that's the root of avenues, and that those athletes, we know that athletes are seen as people of influence in the black culture.
They're the male influencers.
Do you get what I'm saying? For a lot of males. Do you get what I'm saying? So if we can see that's the root, then it's like, what are we, like, what conversations are we having if we're looking at people that can't even sustain that level? Do you get what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes sense.
Like maybe they should spend the piece however they want.
Yeah.
But then on the other side, then maybe give and highlight educate. But like where they're not making good. So that guy was calling them out because even them with the money they had, they were not making good decisions with their money at all. These lot were talking about giving their money to like financial advisors that were buying. They were telling them they were going to buy the same property like 3 times, and you don't know what's going on with your money. Like, I'm not trying to hold anybody accountable. Like, you know me,
no, but
I don't be doing that.
But my things that's what I want to
narrow. If a change is going to happen, you're going to have to cause disruption. It has to come out. Like, it has to come out with them. If you wanted to shift the culture, we cannot.
But I'm not disputing that.
But I'm saying that it has to come out like this. It just has to be said.
I'm not even.
You can't come and be like, oh no, spend the money how you want. And it's all,
see, again, this is where this is where we disagree. I'm not. Well, okay, sorry.
I'm not trying to convince you. I'm
okay. We understand, but we're having a debate.
And to be fair, I think what you're getting confused is that I don't think we actually disagreed with your original point. Like we never actually, because I think this stems from Colin saying, obviously, the thing about African parents will do. And you said, you made the point of that money needs to be spent, and obviously. And then we never actually disagreed with that. We just said what the idea of spending money just for the sake of spending money can essentially lead to. And then Colin made that example. Do you get? So I don't actually think we've ever agreed with that point. We disagreed with that point anyway.
We actually agree with each other. But my thing is, it was more so highlighting. And again, we've all understood that a man can spend the money however the man chooses to spend his money. But we've now identified that is the problem with the culture. Fine, I agree with that as well. But even going deeper into that, the problem with the culture is the influence that's created by the man by the influencers spending their money. If it can even, this isn't even just translated into like the black culture. This translates into a lot of things, but that's fine. And then my thing is now the disruption you're talking about. Again, I agree.
Did Gio just do All Lives Matter?
Let him finish. Just let him finish.
I agree with you. The disruption needs to happen. But we disagree. We split in the way that the disruption needs to happen. The way you say, for me, is education, and that's the key thing. A lot of influence, male influence, a lot of sports head. Like the NFL guys you're talking about, they were seen spending so. My man came to educate them and say, don't copy me, or whatever he said to deter them from doing that. That's my thing. That was basically what I was trying to establish. Because when that statement was first said, there was like an onus of responsibility that we've now dispelled, but that was a problem. There was an onus of responsibility of the rich man spending the money, and that's what I didn't like.
I'm careful to say this because I know that there's two sides to this, but wouldn't you say, especially when you come from, wouldn't you, like, why wouldn't there be an onus of responsibility on the individual anyway? Is the point I'm making. It's so because it's your thing basically that he can do what he wants. Nobody asks him to be a role model.
In a sense, yeah. But okay, go on.
Because the only reason why I say this, and maybe I'm stretching it, but especially when you look at athletes that come from like disadvantaged black backgrounds and the fact that we're black and all the disadvantages that come with being black, even though like being black is great, then when you look at that and then you reach a certain status, don't you owe it to the people that came from backgrounds like yours to behave accordingly? If you get what I'm saying, like, and that doesn't now mean that doesn't now mean you can't spend and do whatever. But I'm just saying it's like what kind of legacy is an odd word, but what kind of representation are you showing if you end up the same way that your peers did before you? What lessons did you learn to reach the point that you did? Like, what kind of influence are you trying to teach the ones coming after you? So my point is, don't you, once you come from that background and you reach that limelight, don't you automatically become a role model anyway? Like, whether you like it or not, it's given to you. We spoke about how Adele became a martyr at the moment that she said, I'm a woman that won this, that I'm a woman. You know, when she won we spoke about how she inadvertently became a martyr. Do you get what I'm saying? So black athletes that reach the pinnacle. Bruv, you see the stats all the time. I think the numbers of people that become footballers in this country is like 4%. That's something stupid, crazy low. Think about all the people that you went to school with and that you played. Basically, sorry, just to round up. My general point that I'm making is, especially as, I hate to do the whole black thing, but I'm doing it, especially as black people, where we know we're at a disadvantage, the moment you reach a certain height of success, whether you like it or not, you are a role model. And that's me saying that. This is not me saying, I
don't necessarily even, okay, I'm devil's advocate. I don't even necessarily disagree with you. Because this isn't necessarily my thought process, but for the purpose of debate, why me?
See, I'm going to say something. I think like our culture, you know, black culture, in its beauty and how it's so stolen from and is so like it's sought after, and a lot of people really like, you know, they really be everything for black culture. There's different sides of it that heighten certain things, yeah. So I mean, like, say hip hop and the rapper culture, and the things that it promotes. Like things like a rapper will get a record deal, and the first thing they'll do is try to bling him up with money that he doesn't have, some cash advance, strap him with a mad contract, so that he looks worthy of emulation.
Looks like he should be in that industry.
And it's usually like there's a lot of black people in it, black culture, hip hop. That's where my point is that the beauty of the culture of what it is in itself has little bits of corruption everywhere that it honestly does not have to be that way. Does that make sense? It's not on individuals that don't know better.
When you say it does have to be that way, what are we speaking about?
We don't have to, like, how do I say this?
Because
a rapper don't have to,
because what you just said is different from
it's all around the same
I think
lines.
it
It's all around the same lines, bro.
But there's a difference.
My point is, like, there is a perversion. There's some, like, listen, do you know who, like, bling bling stuff is going to look good to? Poor people, bro. It's people that are disenfranchised.
I'm not disputing the result. I'm disputing the way. I'm disputing the beginning. The example you just
I'm going
gave,
back to the source. I'm not trying. You see what we were disagreeing on. Yeah, it's already. It's like it's a surface level, and we've disagreed and we've butted heads. The guy shouldn't be the one that everyone should do role model. Cool. He's not going to be the one that's going to be the role model. Where did everyone copy it from? Yeah, it's the culture. We don't even know who started that culture to make, like, a set of black people look worthy of emulation by flinging loads of diamonds on their neck, saying that's what we don't even know if that was original, how, like, African culture was. We don't know, innit? But we just know that at some point, though, you would elevate someone doesn't know a lot about money, that's not even in the place of what you're making him look like. Bro, again, on this podcast, one of those American footballers, he was going to be, I think, one of the top 10 NFL drafts, and he took a $500K advance because he wanted to look good before his contract dropped. What? Do you know, crazy, like, financially, bro. Like, that is someone that doesn't know anything about money, but it is very well accepted for him to do that so that it can look good and all blinged up. There is no way you can't say that there isn't a problem with the culture. Whoever brought it, whoever started it,
exactly,
whatever.
And that kind of links into my point, because the byproduct of that is that you have young G's looking at that and thinking, okay, he got to that stage. Me too. When I get to that stage,
that's
I'm gonna do exactly that. And that's basically the point that I was linking into. That you become a role model the moment you reach that stage.
Bro, like, my whole point of all of this here is that wherever it started, because we're about to start this chicken and the egg thing,
and whose fault? So we need to do the intro.
And whoever's fault it is, innit? It's whoever's fault. Like, but at some point, someone had made it to be like that, or we've accepted it to be like that, and the people that would genuinely fall for it, are the people that are broke. Like, it's like fed back to shoot at us. So my point is, whether the individual becomes a role model or not, once they know better about money, as much as they're showing bling bling, they've got to be like, you've got to be balancing the scales. Because them, man, if they didn't go on that podcast, we would never know that a lot of them were confessing where, like, it would have been done for them, bro. Again, I'm not here saying tell anyone how to spend the money, but if the culture is going to change, it has to be mad drastic. So it has to be like...
You're not getting a point across to men lightly. That's for sure.
We're going to move on. No,
Chicken and egg.
Because we're going to move on because it just won't stop. So we're going to move on.
It won't. That's the truth. It won't.
So.
Wait. I wanted to... Okay, I'll do the quote for after. Now, I don't know if it's going to link in with the point, but I'll do it for after. Okay, after, Jesus, fucking Gio's taking the breath out of my life. Bloody hell. Gio's annoying, I know what exactly he's saying.
No,
and I agree with him.
Yeah, I agree with Gio as well.
I'm not even disagreeing.
We're kind of
we're actually agreeing. We're agreeing.
To a degree, anyway.
To a degree, we're agreeing.
You rappers?
Give me my advance.
I'd like one. Let's go. Yeah. You're now locked into the Unfiltered podcast, a podcast where we talk about life, relationships, and dilemmas. On the pod today, we've got
David,
and then we've got
Gio,
and then we've got Kola. Building.
Building.
What's everyone saying?
Good man.
How's everyone's day? How's your day today, bro?
My day was okay, but it was enlightening about. It was like every time I thought about the fact that I was going to see two of you guys at 6:30, I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe. Yeah, I know.
That is lovely.
Yeah, I know.
It's
That's what kept me going. Like I got some disgusting emails today. I was like, I got a pod later.
Listen,
it's fine. I was like, go on, bitch about the emails.
I love the way I handle. Listen, I can't kill myself.
I was.
You might have to make 6:30 pods a more regular thing, you know.
Nah, might as well.
I can't even lie to you. If I do work at the pace that I wish to do work,
bro.
So no, this doesn't apply for everybody.
Gio's man just says work hard, he says chill out.
You will lose your job. But I work at the pace that. So if email come and in corporate, they love to do shit like they'll love to give you the shit close to the deadline, so the headache's yours. When I tell you, and I've mastered this so well, so well. When I tell you, you don't pay me enough for me to
do
myself.
You send them back like holders to be like, well, I don't think I can complete this in the deadline that you've given me, or do you just air it?
I just air it.
Yeah, I just air it.
Because if you're
it's mad to air it, by the way. It's very mad.
It depends on the situation. If you're on Outlook here, you have there's this flag system. You use the flag system here. There's like a flag. They can flag up email. That's how I create my to-do list, innit? And then the order in which I flagged it is the order in which I will complete tasks. So if you're later, you're later. I can't come back.
I have like a physical to-do list, and then like I have different folders because I do like so many different things, and then like the different folders have different colors
for it.
So yeah, and then I use that's how.
Listen, you can't.
Like
listen,
today,
it doesn't apply for everybody.
Like someone sent me an email, and like I was literally talking out to my screen. I was like. I was like,
that's how you know man's stressed.
Yeah, no, he sent me an email, but he's a client, he's a really important client. And I was like, I don't fucking know. And then someone's right next to me is like, are you okay, Colin? I said, yeah, I'm great, man. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't. And it's like, who you? I was like, who you talk to? I was like, talk to my screen as usual. You know. I was like, you don't know. I was like,
you say out loud.
Yeah.
But you know the craziest thing is, when you're working like 9 to 5, and you see it said a lot, but the main difference between whether you survive or not is your manager / supervisor. If your manager / supervisor is 30 with you, and you don't necessarily have to be the best of friends, but if they're just a decent human being, you'll get through. But if it's a case where they don't give a shit about you, find a new job.
Call the recruiter.
Don't even call HR because they're friends with HR.
I'm not talking about HR.
Call the recruiter. Call the recruiter.
So this is weird. Like the quote I had up here, and we're gonna end the pod soon, anyways. But the quote I had up.
I even know something I want to say about.
Is it? Yes,
man's a light-hearted, jokey thing, so it's fine.
Let's run that.
Are you sure?
Yeah, let's run that. Run it. This linked to what we're talking about, but we don't gotta go there.
We can do it next week.
Heated.
We can do it next week.
Somebody read something.
Mine's quick, so we can go into yours and then we'll go into that.
Yeah, go watch this.
So mine was, I was watching one show, I can't remember what the show was, but they done this thing where they're like, what would be the man them's rescue sign? So like, let's say like you lot were in danger, and you were trying to put out a signal and you wanted us to know what it was that was wrong with you. So I don't know, for example, let's say Collar one day said, I'm for cancel culture. We would know that's Collar's rescue sign. Yeah. So I just want to find out.
I got bears. But I'm not sure I can see them online.
So that's what what would be the man them's rescue sign?
If you ever see me post a romantic picture of people and saying goals, I am suicidal. Come and find me. If you ever see me post a picture of a couple and it says goals, I am suicidal. Start belling me off.
Look for bros.
Honestly, come and find me. If you ever see me put one of them indirect quotes of, my friends don't care about me, so I live life for myself. I am suicidal. Honestly.
It's funny because this guy doesn't even post. Yeah, so if you see anything,
that's how you know.
If you are, let me see. I have bears of them. There's bear stuff that people do that cringes me to the point of like I want to shoot myself. Oh my god, there's a lot. Where do I start, David?
Scholar is killing me.
Oh my god.
Look, he's got far too many responses.
Far too many.
And I hear it. That's one for me. If you see me put up something and say goals,
it's tight. I think that's what for all of us.
Boy, just know, I think that's for all of us.
What are you goaling there?
Why are you goals?
Why is it goals?
Just know I'm in danger. I'm in big trouble.
If you see me arguing on the internet, it just
If you see me coming back and forth in the comment section,
Just know it's not me. If you see me going back and forth with my mention, just know it's not me.
But
Yo.
just know it's not me unless it's about football. But cool, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Add that some content.
But just know, unless it's
No.
unless it's a BLM, no, it's not me.
if you see me arguing about anything,
Even BLM back, I'll just block them.
anything
Anything back.
anything on Twitter or Insta, it's not color, or you're in danger.
anything
Basically, you've been
on the
hacked.
Jesus my Lord's internet, my Savior, my eternal Lord's internet. Find me, like honestly, find me. Let me see.
I'm actually trying to think.
One of mine is if you ever see that I'm selling my trainers.
If you
You-
see,
Oh shit!
if
damn.
you see, I'm
That
selling
nigga-
my books.
Yeah. Especially you two niggas.
Yeah,
Come
if
find me.
You niggas
come
down
find
bad.
me,
You niggas
yeah.
down- like, that's mad.
If you see I'm selling books, yep, I'm in danger. Yeah, send the rescue package.
If you
ASAP.
see a crazy music comparison, come find me.
Like what?
Like, I can't even give you an example.
But random, yeah. Do you see that thing with Pete Davidson and Kanye?
I'm not even trying to speak on that, but that's
Cool,
mad.
cool. We don't have
No. As in, like, we can, but
Oh, the only thing I thought that was I don't even want to speak on it too much. The only reason I just came and said music,
because
and
music.
then I just thought about how crazy it was that Pete sent Kanye a pic of him
In bed?
and I said I'm with your wife, and then he tried to give him mental health advice afterwards. I just thought that we
are in the end times,
Like,
my brothers.
You know the
because
crazy
honestly,
thing is-
what the hell is that?
Yo, like,
We are. Jesus
Yeah, bro.
is knocking.
to be
Like,
fair, yeah, no.
please,
It's like, give
Don't
your
do
life
that.
to
Hold
the,
on, hold on.
to the true Lord and
Hold on.
Savior, because
Don't
we
do
are at
that.
the end.
Because that's petty, and I would have done something like that as well. I want like to see.
You done that as well?
From when Kanye is there doing the thing is, yeah.
Dave, I mean, sorry, Joe. Are you saying to us that if we see you half naked on the internet telling another man that you're his wife, it's not signal? You're fine.
You're telling us that's not your rescue sign.
Hold on. Is my rescue sign, because that's not me. I'm saying that, listen, if you see me if you see me on the shade bar, I promise you it's not me.
Cool.
Come for me. Anyway. But,
That's your rescue sign.
I'm still ashamed that certain man in this group follow, but we're never going to talk about it.
If you see that colourful shade bar or shade room,
It's not him.
find him.
Find me.
Rescue
Find
sign.
him.
Find me.
SOS.
SOS.
Find
Nina,
me. I'm calling out for
it's
help.
even urgent. I can't remember what I was going to say about
You're
man.
making a point about Pete.
Oh, Pete and Kanye.
About Pete and Kanye, yeah.
Obviously, their back and forth's been their back and forth, and they're two grown men. If you're dead disrespecting my man on Jesus Christ's internet, I guess
My Lord and my Savior.
the Lord and
In
Savior.
this quarter of fasting.
In this quarter of fasting.
In this quarter
In
of
this-
prayer.
when we're
This quarter in this
when we are
prayer fasting.
This month for prayer and
when
fasting.
Mary above is watching you, this is the madness you want to be doing. You can't be angry at my man's response in it. It was kind of brazy that he tried to do 180.
Sorry, continue.
No, go
Well
on.
done.
No. It has nothing to do with this.
Oh.
It's going to be so serious.
It's kind of brazy that he tried to do 180, but you can't be angry at his response. Oh, yeah, go on.
Go on.
I'm curious now.
Nice, man.
I'm curious.
I think we probably need to close it.
Oh, we still have we have very little time.
I was
We know.
we're done. Yeah, I was coming from the last. I think when we're going home last week, and I remember that certain people went to pick up certain people that that are taking steps to help people on the border of Ukraine. The humanitarians. Because I don't know if you just shout out whoever you've seen in it. Obviously, we saw that Kovinskaya was helping people, and
they
like
were fighting.
very, very sadly, some bastards on the internet were trying to bring up stuff from her past to kind of like slap on that. It's a weird thing,
Please, I don't
then also
want to speak about it.
there's the near Syrian girl that's gone to the border to preach the gospel, but as well as preaching the gospel, they're providing food, blankets, and caring for people over there. And like, obviously, there's people on the internet that feel like that.
Yeah, people tried to cook it. They said that they were using Christianity as
Yeah, people that were sat at home
manipulation, basically.
trying to people that have endangered their lives for the better of other people. Like, just wanted to. Those are two people that came up to my mind. Big them up.
Big up
God
them
bless
for
them.
real. Yeah,
Honestly, God bless black
please,
women.
yeah,
God bless black
word,
women.
word.
Yeah.
I think with that we kind of have to wrap up.
Nice close to the pod. Yeah.
Nice. Close.
Yes.
Can't really beat that.
Yeah. Should be fair.
you
Yeah.
can't actually
That's a
do that,
nice little one. Yeah. Just want to thank everyone for listening to the pod. If you enjoyed what you listened to, make sure you tell your dad, your mom, your grandma, your auntie, the newborn babies.
True.
Just bleep the parts where we're swearing or whatever. But you know where you can find us. At Unfiltered Pod _ on Instagram, at Unfiltered Pod 1 on Twitter, The Unfiltered Pod on TikTok. Make sure that you review us on Apple Podcasts, that you give the ratings on Spotify or Unfiltered Pod on there. If you search Unfiltered Pod, no space, on YouTube, you can find us there as well. Come on the Instagram to come and talk to us on our posts. See what you're really thinking about what we're saying. If you think we're talking rubbish, it's your time to come and chat to us. That nigga is not on the Instagram.
It won't be me to do it.
Ignore him. Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about. Yeah. If you ever willingly listens to the pod.
We come on the pod and Gio says, I'm gonna
listen to this pod. It's a rescue sign. Call.
There's danger.
But from everybody at Unfiltered, we're out, man. Love, peace, and prosperity.